Senate Democrats, including the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Dick Durbin, they're calling on Sessions and Barr to both testify in the Senate about what happened. Democratic leader Chuck Schumer and Dick Durbin put out a statement today saying that the Judiciary Committee in the Senate will, quote, vigorously investigate this abuse of power. They say if Barr and Sessions don't agree to testify voluntarily, they will subpoena them. But with a Senate that's divided between Democrats and Republicans 50-50, at least one Republican senator would have to side with the Democrats on that committee in order to issue such a subpoena. So good luck with that. On the House side, though, the Democrats are just plainly in charge there. There'd be no need for Republican votes if a House committee wanted to issue that kind of a subpoena for their testimony. But are the House Democrats going to open their own investigation and demand that kind of testimony? Turns out to be a very interesting question. In the House, the chairman of their Judiciary Committee is Congressman Jerry Nadler. And he did not just plainly announce today, the way they did in the Senate, that he's going to open an investigation into what happened here. Nadler instead basically issued a threat that the Justice Department now, under Merrick Garland, needs to clean this up themselves and quickly, or else. I'm not sure I've ever really seen a statement like this before, but it's pretty remarkable. This is what he says. He says, quote, "It's outrageous that the Department of Justice may have used a criminal investigation as pretext to spy on journalists, members of Congress, their families, and congressional staff. Sadly, after 4 years of Trump's corrupting influence at the Department of Justice, we have every reason to believe that these reports are true. Indeed, my concern," meaning Jerry Nadler's concern at this hour, "is that the corruption may run deeper than has already been reported. We know that the Justice Department, under Attorneys General Sessions and Barr, tried to secretly seize data from the accounts of these reporters and of my colleagues on the Intelligence Committee in the House. But we do not yet know how these two efforts were connected or whether there were additional targets of this gross abuse of power." Nadler says, quote, "I'm grateful that Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz has committed to investigating both of these cases. His work here will be invaluable. An investigation by his office, however, is no substitute for swift action by the Department of Justice itself." He says the committee has been in communication with the Justice Department, and we've made our position clear. The department has a very short window to make a clean break from the Trump era on this matter. We expect the department to provide a full accounting of these cases, and we expect Attorney General Merrick Garland to hold the relevant personnel accountable for their conduct. If the department does not make substantial progress toward those two goals, then we on the Judiciary Committee will have no choice but to step in and do the work ourselves. So he's not announcing that he's opening an investigation. The committee has a short window to make a clean break from the Trump era. We expect a full accounting. We expect Attorney General Garland to hold the relevant personnel accountable, or else we'll do it for him. I don't know what the Justice Department under Attorney General Garland plans to do here. This is a very big scandal. We did get word early in the day today that the Deputy Attorney General, Lisa Monaco, had asked the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, to open an investigation. Later in the day, we did, in fact, get a statement from the Inspector General affirming that he is opening that investigation. And that means, some number of years down the road, we'll get the result of that Inspector General investigation, presumably. But for those of us who are, sort of sadly not shocked to learn what the previous administration was capable of. For those of us who are sort of inured now to even the idea that Justice Department officials would fall in line and do unethical, potentially illegal stuff that Trump wanted, even if we're now incapable of being shocked by revelations of how bad not only Trump's behavior was, but his underlings' behavior was during the Trump era. Even still, it's been kind of shocking to realize that there are people who were involved in this particularly egregious, totally unprecedented case of the Justice Department secretly obtaining and rifling through communication records from Democratic members of Congress who at that very moment were investigating the president. It is upsetting to realize, as jaded as we all are now, it is upsetting still to realize that officials involved in that are still at the Justice Department today. People who were briefed on this while it was happening, people who were in the chain of command while decisions were being made to do this, people who took part in it are still there under Merrick Garland. So number one, what's going to happen to them if they in fact were involved in this? And number two, given the fact that those officials who knew about this are still in the department right now, why did it take a New York Times article about this abominable behavior to spark an inspector general investigation today? I mean, this scandal wasn't known to any of us, the public, but it was known to multiple officials inside the Justice Department, none of whom thought to peep about it and tell their new superiors now that Merrick Garland and Lisa Monaco are in charge of the Justice Department. No, apparently Garland and Monaco had to learn about it in the New York Times, because even the officials involved inside the Justice Department, people involved in this scandal inside the Justice Department, didn't say anything. Is that because nobody asked them? Apple and Microsoft have both released statements tonight explaining how those companies were roped into this and why these legally binding gag orders they were served with prohibited them from telling anybody what was going on here until now. Since last night's show, when we reported on this, we have learned that in addition to Congressman Adam Schiff, California Congressman Eric Swalwell also had his records secretly seized. As part of his response today, he said this. He said, quote, "I hope every prosecutor who was involved in this is thrown out of the department. It crosses the line of what we do as a country." Excuse me, what we do in this country. Swalwell's colleague, California Congressman Ted Lieu, went right at it, too, saying, quote, "Anyone involved in this who is still at the Justice Department needs to resign." In the Senate, Senator Ron Wyden went at it even more directly, saying basically even that wouldn't be enough. Senator Wyden says this: "There must be a full investigation of abuses under former attorneys general Sessions and Barr, and anyone at the Justice Department who was complicit in these abuses of power cannot be trusted to continue serving in government. The current Justice Department needs to act with much greater urgency, both to reveal abuses and ensure full accountability for those responsible." We'll see. Attorney General Merrick Garland did not comment on this at all when he gave his speech today on voting rights. The members of Congress who were targeted by Trump's DOJ say they have been able to get zero information out of the Justice Department under Merrick Garland's leadership since this came to light. Garland's people won't even tell the targeted members of Congress what the legal predicate was for going after them, let alone what type of information exactly was collected from them. They won't even tell Congress. The current Justice Department won't even tell Congress right now if more members of Congress were brought into this thing. Expect this to get worse before it gets better. It is clear that the Justice Department under President Biden does not want the job of investigating and rooting around what went rotten inside their own department under the previous president. But even if they don't want that job, that is the job they have now. The stakes of